Now, with conflict raging in several parts of the Middle East, Arab Americans are waiting to see how Donald Trump's new administration will handle foreign policy decisions there, in particular the war in Gaza. He's already announced a number of staunch Israel supporters who are to fill his top posts. The current Biden administration's perceived inability to rein in Israel's campaign in Gaza alienated many voters in the community, and it showed at the ballot box. DW's Janelle Dumoulin reports now from Michigan, a state with a large Arab American community and one that was won by Trump.
They may be in Michigan, but the hearts and minds of these Arab Americans are focused on the Middle East. Almost everyone here knows someone affected by the conflicts there. These high schoolers in Northville, a suburb of Detroit, are fundraising for relief efforts, asking speakers like Maha Zaidan to talk about the war.
I'm talking about the thousands of lives that we have lost in Gaza and Lebanon, and the blood that has been shed in the streets.
The Palestinian-American law graduate says she's hopeful things will get better, but she's also worried about Trump's appointees, such as Mike Huckabee for ambassador to Israel. Huckabee once said that there's no such thing as a Palestinian, and that speaking of the Palestinian people was a political tool to try and force land away from Israel.
It's very disappointing to see who he chose to appoint, because it seems like they are all part of this broader agenda to continue to support Israel and to continue to ignore and completely act like they are not committing crimes, like no children are dying, like no civilians are being targeted.
Over in the Arab American majority city of Dearborn and neighboring Dearborn Heights, many blame the Biden administration for how Israel has conducted the war. Many voted for Trump. Among them, Bill Bazzi, the mayor of Dearborn Heights. He has memories of war himself, having fled to the U.S. from Lebanon as a child in the 70s. Bazzi campaigned for the president-elect in Michigan, despite Trump's track record of supporting Israel. The cabinet picks don't bother him, but U.S. military aid does.
Stop shipping weapons. What they're doing with the weapons is totally against everything that we believe in. You know, like us, when I was in the military, you know, you have rules of engagement. You know, you have things that you have to abide by. So why are we abiding by something then the people that we're sending weapons to, they're not abiding by the same rules?
Other Arab Americans felt so strongly about this that they chose to leave the top of their ballot blank, or voted for a third party to show their disapproval of U.S. policy towards Israel. Like Khalid Turani, a Palestinian-American activist we met in Michigan a year ago.
We are going to stand firm on our principle that we're not going to vote for someone who is an enabler of war crimes against the Palestinians in Gaza.
Fast forward to today. We catch up with him and ask whether he thinks that was the right thing to do, also in light of Trump's cabinet picks.
What I was hoping is that the Democrats will take a step back and say, okay, obviously we're upsetting a lot of people. However, instead of reflecting, they became more emboldened. I was never under any disillusion that Trump was going to be better.
Whether they're happy or not about the outcome of the U.S. election, Arab Americans in Michigan and elsewhere are united in their hope for a swift end to the war. They just have different visions about how that can be achieved, and by whom.